used to make love to a down-ass trick, you could bend her backwards. I don't need much but a badass bitch and a Netflix password.
Okay.
I know that I'm coming home late, but fuck it, what we gonna do after? I'm trying to get ahead today.
That sounds like a great plan. A badass bitch, a Netflix password, and I'm trying to get head today? I could bump to it. What's going on, guys? My name's Cliff, and this is Unpack That Bowl. Unpack That Bowl, the show where we take a deep dive into pop culture. On this episode, we're taking a deep dive into Joyner Lucas's new album, ADHD. New, because he's been releasing snippets and singles and track listings and album covers for about half a year now. But finally, ADHD is here. So I was introduced to Joyner Lucas by the song I'm Not Racist. If you haven't heard it, check it out. I'm Not Racist talked about the struggles and stereotypes that were inside the black and white community about the other. And while it's not that great of a song, it's still enjoyable, and I think it could start a discussion. So I enjoyed I'm Not Racist. At first, I did not. That first half had me feeling like I'm ready to fight. But on a couple more listens, I'm Not Racist is a good song. Some people have the same feelings as me when they first hear it, and they're taken back by it for many different reasons. But when you sit down and go through the song, it's a decent song. He even dropped his mixtape during this time, and it had, two good songs on it. The rest was kind of mediocre, but that's in my opinion. I think the two good songs, Forever and I'm Sorry, are really emotional and really powerful, and you can get the message. You can really feel how he conveys, Joyner conveys how he's feeling in both of these songs really well. So he gains more buzz when Eminem releases his album Kamikaze, and Joyner Lucas is featured on the song Lucky You. Now, Lucky You is a really good track that demonstrates both an underdog story and a legend not giving up or not wavering on what he believes in. Between I'm Not Racist and Lucky You, Joyner Lucas has spent his time remixing other rappers' songs and making them better, in my opinion, but I think he made them better. He rapped on songs like Mask Off, Look Alive, and ZZ, and ZZ, whatever it is. He murdered those beats, and he did better than the artists that originally performed on those beats. So then Joyner Lucas gets into a rap battle with Tory Lanez, and after 4 good songs, they meet together on the song Suge by DaBaby, and Joyner again remixes another rapper's song, making it better, and also suffocating the air in the entire room. And Joyner Lucas has been teasing and putting off the album ADHD, and so now that we're done with the history of Joyner Lucas, I think it's time that we actually look into the album ADHD. And this album has been prolonged, and it's obvious when you look at the deal falling through with Atlantic, or you look at Joyner Lucas himself having ADHD, there are a lot of factors working against this album being released on time. But Joyner eventually released it. And while the album is finally here, it feels like I'm missing something. The album is really good, and I enjoy the songs on the album, but ADHD feels like it's missing the authenticity of finally hearing an album. You know what I mean? When you finally get to listen to an album and you're like, oh, these are the beats I've been sitting here waiting for. Except these aren't the beats that I've been sitting here waiting for. These are the beats that I've already heard for months now. When we look at the track listing on ADHD, we have ISIS, we have Lotto, we have 10 Bands, we have I Love, we have ADHD, and to some extent we have Will, which was released a week ago. I mean, I've heard half of the album already. I've already heard half of this album. So there is no, this is what I've been missing, because it's already here. So some of my favorite songs on the album include Lotto, I Lied, Will is a really good song, and I kind of like The War. The War is a bump, low-key. Songs I don't like include Finally and Goldmine, and I also don't like The War. I don't like Young Thug. I'm sorry. It's kind of mindless, whatever. I could do without The War. The good in this album is that I like all the sounds, and even if I don't enjoy the lyrical content or even some of the beats that Lucas chose for ADHD, I really like how this album sounds as a whole, and I think if these songs had been released without me hearing them, I would have been really impressed with this album. The bad of this album is the fact that these songs were released beforehand. I feel cheated, and I'm gonna keep saying that. Whenever an artist releases singles and you put like 4 or 5 singles on the album, I feel cheated. I feel very cheated because you robbed me of that. Like, you know the feeling on Christmas Day when you open a present and it's not one of those presents that you put on the list and you're wowed by it, and there's wonder and amazement and gratification and appreciation and all these other adjectives. But when you put a bunch of singles on the album that you've already released, that doesn't exist. Does that make sense? So let's look at the album, because there are a couple songs on this album that I think really show how good ADHD is. I Lied is an amazing intro track. I think it gets you hyped up, and it kind of tells you what the album's going to be about. You can't sit still. ADHD is something that affects more than just my concentration. It affects every facet of my life. I Love is another Joyner Lucas theme song. I wish it had more meat to it. It's really chorus heavy, but I enjoy I Love, and it's basically just like, I'm about to be this thug rapper, get on the beat, killing everyone. I killed it, I murked it. And I wish there was more verse to I Love, but I Love is still a good song that leaves me wanting more. A little too much more, but wanting more. And Broken Stupid is a good ending to an album. I can just sit back, reflect on what I heard, and also hear Joyner Lucas kill a Jay-Z beat. It's what he does. He raps over other people's beats. This is who he is at this point. So my final thoughts on ADHD is that I enjoyed the hooks more than I thought I would. You know, Joyner Lucas isn't this amazing singer. He's better than me, and I can appreciate the raw vulnerability to get on the mic and let me just sing. Let me just put some auto-tunes behind it. I like the way it sounds, so I dig it. At the same time, though, it kind of is like you want something to be so good, right? That even you kind of getting out of your own way would make it better. And I feel like if you just got some really nice performers on the hook, not that you're not a nice performer, but a really solid hook can tie together a song really well. So that's my final thought on that. And I also feel like some of the features didn't really mesh. I almost would have preferred an album with no features, because it felt like the features here either were out of place. Like, I hate the Chris Brown song. I don't care if it is good or it sucks. No, I'm just not going to listen to it. That's my stance on that. But the other features, like, aside from Logic, don't really mesh. So you gotta figure that out next time around. Pull a J. Cole, go double platinum, no features. You gotta do something, Joyner. But I like the album, and overall, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. If I had gotten these tracks, like maybe one single was released beforehand, and I gotten this album like that, it'd be an 8.5 out of 10. But that's not how it went down. So overall, I like the ADHD, and I like Joyner Lucas as an artist, so best believe this album is gonna be on repeat. At least until all this Rona shit clear off. By the way, guys, thanks for sticking in with me. I know it's been a while. Haven't really released a video in a bit, but shit is going on. Just stick with me. We're back on the tracks. We're gonna get shit rolling, alright? Thanks for watching, guys. My name's Cliff, and as always, this has been Unpack That Bull. Peace. And then we see Drogon blasting through the city.
In the chair.
And Shrek was pretty. I maybe wash the shit off my hands, and then we peel it off. I've heard of buoyancy related to like boats, and like, for example, how little compromise with evil is okay as long as it all works out in the end, right? Bop, bop. He had it with the shield. He said, ha, ha, ha. Everyone was flaming him too.
Fuck that, dude.
Everyone was flaming.
We racing the roof.
Like, do something if it means everything or whatever the fuck it said. I guess.
Never wanted you to work.
I did. I'm so proud.